I remember this night like it happened yesterday, even though I'm 26 years old now, and this all happened when I was only 12. Time has passed, years have stacked on top of each other, and life has moved forward, but this memory has never faded. It's still sharp, still clear, still just as terrifying as it was back then. Some nights, when the house is quiet, I can still feel it creeping back in. That same fear, that same helplessness, that same cold feeling in my stomach. Back then, my parents were going out for the night. I don't remember exactly where they were going, just that it was supposed to be a normal night. Nothing unusual. They told my older brother, Zach, who was 18 at the time, to stay home and watch me. At that age, Zach was technically an adult, and my parents trusted him. And I trusted him too. He was my big brother, the person who was supposed to protect me. At first, I was excited. Being left alone in our big house felt like freedom. Real freedom. Not the kind where you're alone in your room with your parents. Still home, but the kind where the house feels like it belongs to you. I felt grown up. I felt important. I remember thinking that this was what being older must feel like. I had no idea that before the night was over, I would wish more than anything that I wasn't alone at all. Not long after my parents left, Zach came into my room. He looked nervous, but also excited in that careless way older teenagers sometimes. Dewey told me he was going out with his friends for a few hours. He said it casually, like it wasn't a big deal. Then he made me promise not to tell Mom and Dad. He said he'd get in huge trouble if they found out he left me alone. I didn't hesitate. I trusted him, and honestly, I liked the idea of having the house to myself. I agreed without thinking. Twice, when Zach left, the house changed. It felt different immediately. The silence felt heavier. The rooms felt bigger. The lights felt farther apart. But at first, that didn't bother me. I wandered around a little, enjoying the quiet. Eventually, I went into the den and decided to watch a scary movie. Looking back, that was one of the worst decisions I could have made that night. At 12 years old, watching a horror movie alone felt like a challenge, like something brave people did. At first, I was enjoying it, but slowly, the fear started to creep in. Not because of the movie itself, but because of the house, the way the sounds carried, the way every noise seemed louder when you were paying attention to it. The floorboards creaked randomly. The wind brushed against the windows. The fridge clicked on and off in the kitchen, sounding way louder than it ever did during the day. Every time the movie made a loud noise, I jumped. I kept glancing behind the couch, toward the half-flight of stairs that led up to the main floor. I don't know why, but I kept expecting to see someone standing there, just watching, waiting. My imagination was running wild, fueled by the movie. In the silence around me, eventually it became too much. I realized I was scaring myself for no reason. My heart was racing, my palms were sweaty, and I couldn't focus on the screen anymore. So I turned off the TV. The moment the screen went dark, the room felt even more terrifying. I didn't walk upstairs. I ran. I ran like a scared little kid who feels like something is right behind them the second the lights go out. When I reached my room, I went straight into the bathroom that connected my bedroom to my parents' room. I brushed my teeth as fast as I could, barely looking at my reflection, trying to calm my breathing. I kept telling myself that I was being ridiculous, that nothing was wrong, that I was safe. After that, I went back into my room and turned on my Xbox 360. I loaded up Call of Duty Zombies. The familiar sounds of the game were comforting. The voices, the gunshots, the chaos, it all helped drown out the quiet of the house. I played for hours. Time passed without me noticing. For a while, I forgot that I was scared. Eventually, my team died, and frustration snapped me back to reality. I checked the time and realized it was late, way later than I thought. I turned off the Xbox and laid down in bed, staring at the ceiling. The house was quiet again. Too quiet. I tried to convince myself that Zach would be home soon. I told myself that everything was fine. Not long after I laid down, I felt it. A vibration. A deep, subtle thud that traveled through the house. The front door closing. I knew that feeling well. I had felt it countless times before. One immediately. Assumed it was Zach coming home. I stayed in bed, listening. I heard movement downstairs. Footsteps. Shifting sounds. But something was wrong. Usually, when Zach got home, he went straight upstairs to his room. This time, the sounds didn't stop. They lingered. The footsteps moved around downstairs for far too long. There were soft thumps, indescribable noises, things that didn't make sense. My stomach started to twist. I tried to blame the scary movie. I told myself my imagination was getting the best of me. Still, I couldn't ignore the feeling in my gut. I got out of bed and walked quietly to my window. I pulled back the curtain just enough to look outside. I expected to see Zach's car parked in the driveway where it always was. The driveway was empty. Completely empty. That's when real panic hit me. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I felt cold all over. I didn't have a cell phone. I was only 12. The only phones in the house were downstairs. There was no way I was going down there. Not now. I went to my bedroom door and checked the lock. It was locked, but I knew how. Useless it was. The lock could be opened from the other side with just a fingernail. If someone wanted to get in, they could. That realization made me feel completely helpless. I looked around my room, desperately trying to think of what to do. There was nowhere to go. Nowhere to hide except one place. The small, crawl-in closet built into the wall of my room. It wasn't big. It wasn't comfortable. But it was something. I squeezed inside, carefully pulling the door shut behind me. I stood there in the darkness, barely breathing. My heart was racing so fast I was terrified it would give me away. I kept hoping I was wrong, hoping this was all just in my head, hoping it was Zach and I was about to feel really stupid. Then, I heard it. Someone fumbling with my bedroom door. Seconds later, the door opened. Someone walked into my room. I froze completely. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I listened as footsteps crossed the floor. I could hear the floorboards creak under the weight of whoever was there. I heard objects being moved, shifted, picked up. At one point, I heard something being dragged across the floor. Every sound felt amplified. Every second felt like an eternity. I was convinced that if the closet door opened, I was going to die. I remember thinking about my parents, about Zach, about how stupid it was that I was alone. I prayed silently, begging for whoever it was to leave. Eventually, the footsteps moved away. I heard them leave my room. I didn't move. I stayed in that closet for what felt like forever. My legs hurt. My body was shaking, but I didn't dare step out. Time passed. I don't know how long, maybe minutes, maybe hours. Eventually, I heard Zach yelling my name from downstairs. His voice sounded angry, panicked. He came into my room and called my name again. Slowly, I stepped out of the closet. The first thing He was yell at me. He demanded to know what I was doing in there and what I had done to his room. That's when it hit me. It hadn't been him. Not earlier. Not at all. I explained everything as fast as I could. My hands were shaking. My voice wouldn't stop trembling. Once he understood, we searched the house together. Drawers were pulled out. Electronics were missing. TVs, gaming consoles. Someone had robbed us while I was hiding upstairs. Zach called the police. They came and took a report. They told us to wait for our parents. Around 4 a.m, my parents arrived home. My dad was furious. He hit Zach for leaving me alone and leaving the door unlocked. My mom hugged me and told me she was just glad I was alive. That night changed everything. Even now. Years later, I still remember hiding in that closet, listening to someone walk around my room, not knowing if I would survive. That fear never really goes away. It just waits, quietly, like footsteps in the dark.